Hi there. Welcome to live stream Yoga with Louise, tips and cues to keep you safe and strong on the mat. For today's Pilates conditioning class, we're working into the whole body with mindful movement. I want you to be aware and engaged as you're moving on the mat today. Be aware, be mindful of the nuances of each conditioning movement and the tweaks that you might need to make to adjust for your own body. As always, play where you're comfortable. If you need to, pause the stream and take a time out. You ready to do this? Let's hit the mat. We're going to set up for today's class standing towards the bottom end of the mat with enough room to play in front of you. Your feet are stacking in parallel underneath your hips. Tuck your tailbone in. Stand up nice and tall. Pull the belly button into center and start with the arms long and lengthened at your side. Take a big breath in, and on an exhale, you're going to softly fold forward into a tabletop position as you open up the arms into a T-frame. Try not to drop the head lower than the arms and swan dive down. So try to give me a relatively long tabletop line, looking down into the mat, and then peel back up to your start position. You're going to rinse and repeat that movement. Maybe once you start the first one, you might find that the back chain of your legs is really tight. So you might only come halfway into your tabletop line. And then as the legs start warming up and as the lower back starts releasing, you might find yourself coming more and more into the ideal frame with a nice straight leg line. Your weight placement in the feet is equal between the balls and the heels of your feet. And you might need to almost sway into it at first just to get the back chain of the legs to release. Think of that long line that you want through the neck and the spine. Keep your gaze down on the mat when you're in the tabletop line and keep that belly button softly sucked into center so that you don't have your little muffin top tummy hanging on the mat. All right, we're going to do one more like this and then we're going to change the arm line. The next time you come into your tabletop frame, you're going to float your arms overhead. Think warrior 3, framing your ears on either side and then coming back to your start position. Reaching long and lengthened through your arms, almost as if you wanted to tap the wall in front of you. Make sure that that weight placement on the feet is even so that your inner thighs are working. Your core is working to hold the frame and you're reaching long and lengthened, almost as if somebody was standing in front of you, gently tugging on your fingertips and trying to lengthen the line from shoulder to wrist line. Inhale as you come up, exhale as you come into the tabletop frame. Let's do 3 more. The next time you come into your tabletop line, you're going to hold that line, gently swaying back and forth, and then finding your maximum stretch, which might be with more of the weight placement in the toes and the balls of your feet. The whole foot still connected to the mat, but almost no weight on the heels. Hold that little stretch. Then softly drop your hands to your shins or the top of your thighs if your shins are not accessible. And if you can, fold forward and hold as low to the mat as you can. Maybe fingertips connected to the mat. If you're really tight, you can bend and extend through the back chain of the legs, whether your hands are connected to the mat or whether your placement is higher up along the chain of the legs. Keep that belly button softly pulled into center. Find your maximum stretch placement for the feet. Play with that weight bearing. Keep the belly button softly pulled into center. From here, you're gently going to walk your way into a plank line. You can do this on the elbows if you prefer. Give me a nice parallel line to the mat. You're going to lift, hold, and hover the left foot just off the floor. Small little lift with a soft point to the toe. On the opposite side of the body, you're going to think heel, toe, heel, change, lift, heel, toe, heel, change, lift, heel, toe, heel, change, lift, heel, toe, lift, change, lift, heel, toe, heel, change, lift, heel, toe, heel. You're going to keep playing with that movement, lifting the leg on the one side and giving me a heel, toe, heel, swaying back and forth over your wrist line. The whole time that you're playing, you're keeping your shoulders nice and strong so you're not collapsing through the collarbones. You're keeping your core braced and you're thinking long and lengthened through the legs, almost as if somebody was standing behind you, gently tugging on the tip of your toe and trying to lengthen the line from your hip bone to the toe. Let's do 2 more sets. Keeping that body line as parallel to the mat as you can. From here, you're going to step wide with the right leg to the outside of the right arm, keeping your leg long and lengthened, or you can relax the back, knee, and foot if you prefer. Sink into the stretch here. If you're really tight on the inner thigh and the groin on the right, you can play with that little releve sway that we use from the plank line just to gently open up. Both hands are stacking underneath your shoulders and your right foot is placed on the outside of the right hand. Relax your back, knee and foot, and then slide your fingertips back. We're coming into a little hamstring stretch. Stop when your back hip stacks over the knee and just extend the right leg, bracing into the foot. Both hands are on the inside of the right leg. So we're modifying the hamstring stretch slightly, and your whole limb is out slightly at an angle. Peel your way back to your original lizard line, your little lunge line. Hold or sway with the movement. Every time you come to this little lizard lunge, see if you can drop your whole center of gravity lower towards the mat so that you can feel that opening happening in the groin area. Whole front foot slightly out at about a 45-degree angle, but with a whole foot firmly connected to the mat at this stage. So big toe, baby toe, and the heel firmly planted. Relax the back knee and foot, slide your weight back. Find your slightly off-center stretch, almost softly hollowing out through your belly. So there's a soft contraction on the inner thighs, and you're pointing those right toes right up to the ceiling so that you can feel that awesome stretch along the back chain of the lead leg. Ease your way back to your lizard line, maybe this time knife edging the front foot and allowing the knee to softly fall open so that you can feel even more of a wraparound stretch into the inner thigh and the groin area of your lead leg. Relax the back knee and foot. Ground the front foot first. Walk your weight back. Toes come up off the floor. And if your balance is feeling good here, you can maybe float the hands behind you. Think Titanic. Or if you can, give me a little grasp of the two hands together. Keep that little hollowed out belly. And keep softly looking down to the floor. From here, ease your way back into a plank line and then step wide on the outside of the left hand. Find your little lizard lunge. The front foot is out slightly at 45, but the whole foot firmly planted into the mat. Find your gentle sway. Make sure that you're keeping the belly button softly pulled into center and that you're not collapsing through the shoulders. Relax the back knee, relax the back foot, slide your weight back, extend the front leg, rounding out through your belly, almost pushing off your spider fingertips, and feel a nice stretch into the shoulder blades and the lower back. Ease your way from here back into your lizard line, trying to drop a little bit lower through the pelvis, keeping that front foot firmly anchored. Nice and strong through the shoulders, nice and strong through the core. Relax the back knee, relax the back foot, Creep your way back, rounding out into a little cat stretch. Toes looking up to the ceiling. Ease your way back into your lizard line, this time trying to knife edge the front foot so that you can feel more of a wraparound along the inner thigh into the groin area on the left. Nice and strong through the shoulders, nice and strong through the core. Keep pushing into the heel of the back foot so that you're working both legs. Relax the back knee, relax the back foot. Creep your weight back, rounding out through the spine. You can find your balance, float your hands behind you. Almost think of reaching with your fingertips and trying to tap the wall behind you. Maybe interlacing, making a little fist, and then imagining knuckling the wall behind you. So you're really pushing through the knuckles, stretching through the arms and trying to tap the wall behind you. Ease your way from here into a 4-point kneeling frame on the mat. Make sure that your hands are stacking underneath your shoulders, knees underneath your hips, and focus on your neckline for me. Try not to collapse your frame, so give me a nice long line. We're going to play with a little bit of movement through the shoulders. So allow yourself to almost softly collapse through the shoulders and then push back up. So you're almost protracting and retracting through the shoulders. You're not dropping your head though. You're keeping your neckline nice and long, and you're just focusing on almost pushing the floor away and then softly collapsing towards it, but keeping the neckline long and lengthened. Your spine is as long as you can manage, and the belly button stays pulled into center the whole time that you're playing. You're going to give me 2 more like this, keeping your core braced the whole time. End pushed away from the mat, so with as much distance between your shoulders and the mat as you can manage. Tuck your toes under, lift, hold, and hover the knees off the floor, keeping a strong brace through the core and that long line through your spine. 10, 8, 6, 4, 2, 1. Exhale and float your bum up to the ceiling, coming into a wide down dog frame. Give yourself enough of a wide frame because we're going to come into a plank line just now. So don't make the angle between the hands and the feet too acute. Get a nice stretch into the front and the back chain of the body. And then from here, drag your weight forward. Set up a plank line. Don't collapse through the plank line. So nice and strong. Push the mat away with your hands. Shoulders are strong. Core is strong. You brace the tops and the back of your thighs. Exhale. Hit a down dog. Inhale, come back. You can move dynamically between the two shapes, maybe holding each shape for at least 3 to 5 seconds before moving to the previous shape. Piking your bum up to the ceiling, almost nodding your crown to the floor before coming through and finding your strong plank line again. Core is nicely braced. Let's do 2 more. And then we'll ease our way from here back to a 4-point kneeling frame. And we'll work the tush. Last one. Strong and in control the whole time that you play. Drop to the knees. Find your 4-point kneeling frame first and then drop down onto the elbow on the right arm, floating the arm in so that the whole arm is parallel to the front of the mat. With the left hand, you're just going to give me soft fingertips connecting to the mat and try to have a stack of your hips over your knees. We're going to play on the left side of the body first. Keep your belly button softly pulled into center the whole time that we're moving. You're going to lift and lower that left knee, keeping the angle of the knee locked in position And just lifting and lowering by imagining tugging on a little piece of string through the belly button that connects your lower abdominal area to the inner thighs to make that leg lift and lower in your little fire hydrant movement. We're going to do 3 more like this, and then we're going to add to the fire hydrant. You're going to lift up, extend the leg behind you, and come back to your start position. So 1 little fire hydrant, then lift and extend as if you were trying to use your big toe to tap the wall behind you. Let's do 5, 4, 3, 2, last one. You're going to come back to your little fire hydrant lift, and then you're going to use the knee to trace a circular pattern in one direction. Slow and controlled, don't rush through. I know that leg is going to be speaking to you. If you need to, take a time out in child pose if the movement or the work becomes too intense for you. Completing about 10 traces in one direction and then changing it up and moving in the opposite direction. You're going to feel that glute is going to be speaking to you in tongues. Try to power through. Let's do 1 more. Then we're going to drop onto both elbows, fingertips looking towards the front of the mat, palms down into the mat with your shoulders and your hips squared to the floor. You're going to float the knee down so that it's hovering off the floor and then kick up towards the ceiling with the sole of your foot. So you're giving me a big sweeping or arcing motion through the leg, moving up and down. Let's do 2 more. Then we're going to end high and we're going to pulse. 10, 8, 6, 4, 3, 2. Last one, you're going to drop down onto your knees, tuck your toes under, either staying here, pushing the mat away, almost as if you were resisting through the forearms, or you're going to come into a dolphin hold by tucking your toes under, floating your bum up to the ceiling, maybe keeping your toes about a 1/4 foot space forward, and then holding the frame, trying to take a nice little stretch here. The crown of your head is not connected to the mat. It's softly hovering off the mat. You're pushing off the forearms and you're pushing back as far as you can through the heels, trying to get them to drop down towards the mat. Keep your belly button softly pulled in and keep piking your bum up to the ceiling. Then drop softly to the knees, slide the arms out in front of you, making the forearms and the shoulders heavy into the mat, and come to a little puppy stretch here, looking just off the front of the mat as if you were trying to get your chin and your chest to softly connect to the mat. Then drag your weight forward, setting yourself up on the belly, bend your elbows, stack your forearms one on top of the other, and relax your forehead to the back of the mat. You're going to lift and lower the right leg in a parallel line. So both hip bones are still looking down to the mat to make the leg come up and down. You're not driving from the foot. You're thinking of softly almost drawing up from the kneecap along the quad and the hamstring. You will feel some glute engagement as well. And then let's do it to the other side. Don't kick up too high. Your focus is not height, but rather on length. Pretend somebody's standing behind you, gently tugging on that toe, and you're trying to lengthen from the hip bone to the toe. Make sure that you've got your forehead and not your chin connected to the back of your hand so that your neckline stays in neutral. Float softly back down to the mat. For this one, you're not going to see much. You need to feel it. Focus on your belly button. Make it nice and heavy into the mat. Then suck up the belly button, making a little pocket of air underneath the belly button, and relax back to the mat. Belly up, release. Belly up, release. Belly up, release. Keep rinsing and repeating, just thinking of making a tiny pocket of air just underneath your belly button, enough room for a little army of ants to crawl through from the one side of your body to the other. Belly up, release, belly up, release. Let's do 3 more. As you complete the last one, you're going to float the arms alongside your body, palms looking up, forehead connected to the mat, becoming straight into a full locust line. Pretend that you've got a little marble underneath your nose. Start rolling the marble away from you to the front of the mat, and at the same time, you're going to lift and hover the arms and the legs off the mat. To lift the legs, don't drive from the feet. Think of pulling out from the kneecap along the quad and the hamstring towards your bum line. You're coming to rest on your hip bones with your bottom ribs still connected to the mat. You've got a soft, almost U shape through the spine, and you're reaching through your fingertips and your toes, not throwing the head back, keeping your gaze softly down on the mat, and almost shooting or propelling your body forward through an imaginary body of water, thinking streamline, long and lengthened. Ease your way softly back down to the mat, reconnecting one rib at a time. Bend the elbows, place your palms alongside your bosom, and push back into a relaxed child with your feet long and lengthened and parallel behind you as you take that little stretch. Almost walking your hands back, dropping your bum bones back as far as you can towards your heels. Then ease your way from here back into your 4-point kneeling frame. We're coming into that little fire hydrant on the opposite side. Drop down onto the elbow of the left arm and then swivel the forearm in. Use your fingertips on the right to support. You're going to begin lifting and lowering the right leg up and down, keeping that little bent knee position. Think fire hydrant. Visualize that little piece of string that you're pulling through the belly button to make the leg or the limb lift and lower. You're going to do 2 more like this, then you're going to add that little leg extension. So the next time you come up, extend the leg behind you as if you were tapping the wall, and then draw back to your start position. So 1 little fire hydrant, then extend and tap, and come back down through your fire hydrant. Let's do 7, 6. Keep your belly button pulled in the whole time that you're playing, and keep pushing off your supportive arm. Let's do 2 more. Then we're going to circle out the top leg, tracing a big circular pattern. And you can make that circle as big or as small as you like, but work with control. Use your breath to find your rhythm and to control the movement, inhaling for half of your circle and then exhaling for the other half so that you're not rushing through the movement. Remember, we're working mindfully on the mat today. Change the direction of your circular trace. At any time, easing your way into child pose if the work becomes too intense. Let's do 1 more. Then ease your way onto the elbows of both arms. Palms are looking down to the mat, fingertips facing the front of your mat. You're going to bend the right leg, tucking it in when it's parallel to the left leg, and then arc your bent leg behind you. So think modified donkey kick, pretending that you're using the sole of your foot to kick the ceiling away from you. As you bring that knee back in, stop when both knees are alongside each other. So don't pull the knee through your kneeling frame. Let's do 4, 3, 2. Last one. You're going to end high and pulse. 10, 8, 6, 4, 3, 2. Last one. Come back to your kneeling frame with your forearms on the mat. Either staying here, not collapsing through your shoulders, but pushing the mat away with your elbows and your forearms, or finding your way into dolphin frame by tucking your toes under, piking your bum up to the ceiling, maybe creeping your feet a quarter space forward, and then dropping down as much weight as you can through the heels. It's going to feel almost impossible to get your heels to connect to the mat, but try as best you can. Make sure that you're not collapsing through the shoulders, nice and strong. Keep resisting the mat with your forearms, and allow the crown of your head to just dangle off the floor. Keep your belly button softly pulled in to center. Then drop back down to the knees. Slide the arms out in front, coming to a little puppy stretch. Thinking of trying to connect your chin and your chest to the floor. Your lower belly area is pretty close to the tops of your thighs, and you're piking your bum up to the ceiling, looking softly off the front of your mat. Then drag your weight forward, easing your way into the belly. Bend your elbows, stack your forearms one on top of the other. Rest your forehead on the back of your hands. We're going to do a double leg lift, so we're changing up the sequencing slightly for this round. You're going to lift both legs simultaneously behind you and then float them softly back down to the mat. Thinking long and lengthened from hip bone to toe. Somebody standing behind you and gently tugging on your big toes. You're thinking of drawing up from the kneecaps along the quad and the hamstring towards your bum line to make that limb come up, and then softening to come back down. It's a controlled movement, and the legs are moving almost weightlessly up and down, and they're not thunking into the mat as they come down. Keep your forehead and not your chin connected to the back of your hand so that your neckline stays in neutral. Remember this double leg lift? We're going to use it with our belly lift in a moment. Come back down to the mat and think of that little belly lift that we played with in the previous round, that little pocket of air. You're going to combine it with your double leg lift. So you're going to give me belly up, lift and extend the legs behind you. Legs come down, relax your belly. Belly up, lift, extend. Legs down, relax your belly. Belly up, lift, extend the legs. Legs down, relax your belly. Belly up, lift, extend the legs. Legs down, relax the belly. Belly up, lift, extend your legs. Legs down, belly soft. Belly up, lift, extend. Legs down, belly soft. Let's do one more. Belly up, lift, extend. Legs down, belly soft. Float the arms alongside your body, back of the hands connected to the mat, palms looking up. We're going to come into that locust line. We're going to hold the frame, and we're going to work an inverted 100. Find your setup frame on the mat. Imagine that little marble below or beneath your nose. Start rolling the marble away to the front of the mat. Float your arms and your legs off the mat and find your locust frame. Lock the frame in position, and the only thing you're going to be moving is the arms. You're going to vigorously pump them up and down, hinging from the shoulder joint. Inhaling for a count of 5 and then exhaling for a count of 5. Inhale 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale 2, 3, 4, 5. Keep your toes long and lengthened. Make sure that you're moving from the shoulder joint and not Mexican waving your hands. Inhale 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale 2, 3, 4, 5. 2 more to go. Exhale 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale 2, 3, 4, 5. Slowly float back down to the mat. Retuck that marble underneath your nose. Bend your elbows. Place your palms alongside your bosom and push back into your modified child with your legs long and lengthened and parallel behind you. So there's a little bit of compression into the lower belly area as you come into your child today. Walking your hands back, trying to make your bum bones nice and heavy to your heels. Take a little extended child stretch here, and then from here we're going to hop or step forward and find our way to the seated frame at the top end of the mat. Think of coming through 4-point kneeling, maybe tucking your toes under into a relaxed dog, stepping or maybe hopping forward, crossing the feet or the ankles behind you. And then we are going to take it into some seated roll downs. If you know that your mat is pretty thin, or if you've got a sensitive spine or a pronounced curvature of the lower back, it's always a good idea to maybe keep a hand towel near to you, roll it into a little sausage, and use that for support on the lower back. We're going to do our roll downs from parallel today. So open up the feet, hip width distance apart, sit up nice and tall and float the arms out in front, giving me a long line through the spine and reaching with your fingertips for the wall in front of you. Take a big inhale to prepare, and on an exhale, nod your chin to your chest. Start rounding out or hollowing out through your belly. Keep looking towards your belly button as you peel down one vertebra at a time, connecting to the mat with control through the spine and the core, floating the hands overhead but not dropping them to the mat. Look back down towards your belly button, root through your feet, use your core to peel you back up to your start position. Find a steady rhythm of your own. I want slow and mindful. Feel each nodule of your spine as you're coming down. The slower you work today, the more mindful you are, and the more bang you're going to get for your butt. If we rush through the roll down and the roll up, we tend to start using momentum rather than core strength to bring ourselves down. So take your focus inward, look towards your belly button, not up towards the ceiling. You want that nice, beautiful C-curve frame on your spine as you come down, but more importantly, as you come up. So don't look up to the ceiling or you're going to change the shape of your back. Keep looking in towards your belly button. Think of pushing softly through your feet as you come up and drawing up along your inner thighs, almost as if you were pulling an imaginary zip from the inside of your ankle bones all the way along the inseam of the leg, and then pulling up a tight zip from your pubic bone towards your belly button on the final stretch. Visualize all those little nuances so that you're totally engaged and mindful in your movement. Keep your feet active. We're using an active push into the foot today, almost thinking of resisting the wall in front of you with the heels of your feet. Let's do 2 more, and then we'll end on the back. Last one. When you come down on the last one, you can just slip your padding out. So as you come down on the last one, bend the knees, connect the soles of the feet to the mat, and just slip your padding out, scooching it to one side so that it's not in the way. We're going to take it into a little tailbone lift from here. And we'll work some progressions on the tailbone lift today. So we'll keep the first set really basic. We played with this one on Tuesday, so it should be new in your memory banks. You're going to bend the knees, connect the soles of the feet, and you can keep your hands long and lengthened at your side, or you can tuck your hands palms down underneath your bottom, making a little almost diamond shape with your hands to support your lower back. Float your legs up to 90. This is your halfway mark. You're going to begin your movement behind your halfway mark. Pretend somebody's tugging on your toes, pulling them through the 90 line. Lift your tailbone, piking softly up to the ceiling, and then float with control back down to your start position. The coming back action is more important than the little pike up. So I want you to think of really bringing those legs back slowly as you allow your tailbone to reconnect to the mat. The slower you are with the coming back action, the more you're going to feel the burn in the lower belly area. Try not to tense through your jaw and your chin line. Try to keep it soft and relaxed. From here, we're going to bring it into either a shoulder stand or a bridge line. If you've got any neck issues, you're going to just drop back to your bridge setup, and you're just going to peel up one vertebra at a time, coming up nice and high into a bridge line, keeping your chin tucked towards the chest. If you've got no neck issues and you'd like to try the shoulder stand, from your tailbone lift setup, you're going to gently pike up onto the shoulder blades, placing the hands in your lower back, bringing your hands as close towards the shoulder blades as you can, and then trying to stack ankles, knees, hips in a long line. Keep your chin tucked towards the chest. And then maybe when you come down, easing your way into a plow line, maybe first bringing your legs into a tabletop line, or dropping your toes to the mat. Unbrace your hands, place them palms down into the mat, and roll back down really slowly, one vertebra at a time, reconnecting to the mat. Bend your knees and connect the soles of your feet to the mat. Tuck your hands behind your head in a surrender-like fashion, and we're going to play up the next one. So we'll go slowly through the setup first, and then you can gather momentum. So you're going to begin in a neutral spine position, knees bent, soles of the feet connecting to the mat, feet and knees more or less hip-width distance apart. From your neutral spine position, take a big breath in, tilt the pubis to the 12 o'clock position so that your lower back imprints into the mat. Scoop to peel up in a crunch line, and then reach through with your hands past your knees, holding that scooped frame with the weight just off your shoulders. Then peel back down to your start position, retucking the hands underneath your head. Now you're going to start moving with fluidity and shoot for between 5 and 10 repetitions. Scoop to peel up and pause. Feed your hands through and reach. Holding for a few seconds before peeling back down and retucking the hands underneath your head. Inhaling as you come down. Nice long exhale as you peel up. Use your breath. Make sure that you're holding that contraction as you peel up and initiate it. And then as you reach through, almost using the last bit of your breath to tap the wall on the other side of the knees. Let's do 2 more. As you come back to your start position, you're going to come back into the first portion of that little crunch. So you're going to tilt your pubis towards the 12 o'clock position. You're going to scoop to peel up. Hold that hovering frame. Keep the right arm tucked behind your head and extend the left arm alongside your body. Palm up. Hold that hovering frame with your core braced and the weight just off your shoulders, and give me a little reach on the left side, a little oblique reach, as if you keep reaching with your fingertips for the very edge of your mat. You're going to shoot for just 10 soft repetitions, keeping that hovering frame. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You should be feeling your six-pack pop up. Just peel back down to the mat and take a little time out. We're going to rinse and repeat on the right side. Scoop to peel up, right arm alongside your body, palm up, and then reach through your right fingertips, keeping that scooped frame so your lower back and your lower ribs are heavy into the mat and the weight is just off the shoulders. You've got your chin soft, almost as if you had a little grapefruit tucked underneath it. So you've got about 2 fingers of air between the chin and the chest. 3, 2, mercy. Make your way back down to the mat. You're either going to rinse and repeat that little tailbone lift that we did, or you're going to migrate it into a full roll over. And you can play with it and just see where your body wants to be. Arms either long and lengthened at your side or palms down underneath your bottom. Find your 90 line. Begin your movement just behind 90. Lift your feet through, piking all the way up into the shoulders. If you can, think shoulder stand. Then bringing it down slowly, thinking plow, and reconnecting really, really slowly, one vertebra at a time, almost as if you were doing it slow motion to come back to your start position. Just try to do 5 sets. If this is too much for you, stay with the little tailbone lift that we did in the previous round. Drawing your legs through, piking up onto the shoulders, thinking shoulder stand, bracing into your hands. Then dropping your toes towards the mat as if you were coming into a plow line. Now focus on your spine. Reconnect really slowly, making your bum bones heavy, but controlling as you come back down, feeling each little briquette of your 6 or your 8 pack as you come back down to your start position. Big breath in to prepare. Pike up towards the ceiling in your mini shoulder stand. Start dropping the toes as if you were coming into a plow line. Focus on your spine. One vertebra at a time, slowly, peeling back to your start position. Find a rhythm of your own. Make sure that you're working with control. Try not to look to the side of the room when you're doing this, because chances are you will tweak your neck. Keep your chin tucked towards the chest, just listening for the cues, or perhaps viewing first and then pausing the stream while you execute on your own. Last one. Coming down with control to your start position, then gently hugging the knees in towards your chest, cradle rocking the lower back up. You're going to use that sideways rocking motion to roll over onto your side. As you come onto the side, bring yourself or scoot your way all the way back towards the back end of the mat. Take your feet towards the front corner of the mat, and then your hands towards the front corner of the mat. So you look almost like a little boomerang, and you can either lie on that bottom arm, or you can give me a prop of on the bottom palm, resting the weight on your elbow. You're going to open up the legs into a little Pilates V, heels together, toes looking out to the corner of the mat. You're going to lock the bottom leg in position, and you're going to float the top leg towards your nose. Exhaling as you bring the leg in, and you're going to shoot for 10 repetitions. 5, 4, 3, 2, same movement, same turnout position, but you're going to kick up towards the ceiling, keeping that turnout position so that your inner thighs are rotated out. Now you're going to clip the 2 movements together, coming towards your nose and up to the ceiling as if you were tracing an L shape with the heel of your foot. Exhaling on the kick and inhale to transition, keeping your core firmly braced. Let's do 3 more sets. Then you're going to think of moving in a big circular pattern between those 2 points. And you can play with your foot line. You can maybe heel and toe out and just trace 5 big circular traces in one direction. Maybe anti-clockwise first and then clockwise. Playing with that foot line, heeling and toeing out. as you circle out the leg, trying to keep a soft turnout position on both legs. Last one. As you complete the last one, the leg that's on top, you're going to just reach it behind you for the back edge of your mat. Come down on the bottom arm and then reach with the top arm for the front corner of your mat. So you're stretching on the diagonal from the front corner with your fingertips to the back corner through your toes. Then bend the top leg, run your hand down the chain of the leg, reach for the bridge of your foot, and squeeze the two knees softly together. From here, you're going to tuck into easy sit with the top leg in front. Tuck into a cross-legged seated position, sitting in the middle of your mat, sitting up nice and tall. Take a big breath in, drop your fingertips to the mat and just creep your way as far forward onto the forearms as you can, just holding it here. If the forearms are not accessible, maybe just reaching with your fingertips, leaning forward, almost using your fingertips to claw the mat towards yourself and just lean forward. Try to make sure that both of your bum bones are firmly connected to the mat and that you're not leaning aggressively to one side. Keep your belly button softly pulled in and just take it down as far as you can. Holding that little stretch on the forearms. If you've made it to the forearms, almost think of softly pushing off your palms and your elbows and then sink your hip line back as if somebody was positioned behind you, had grabbed hold of your hips and was pulling your hips back towards the wall behind you. Inhale, peel back up along the center line. Place your right fingertips on the mat alongside you and then creep or slide the hand away from you, making the elbow heavy to the floor, and then arc or frame your other arm overhead, reaching with your fingertips for the wall. That bottom elbow doesn't need to physically connect to the mat. Just make the elbow and the shoulder heavy and try to open up through the rib cage on the top portion of your body. Inhale to come back and take it to the other side. Creep your fingertips away, make the elbow heavy, make the shoulder heavy, arc and frame on the other side, keeping your belly button softly pulled in to center. Peel back towards the center line. Grab your right wrist with your left fingertips and then just gently think of pulling the right arm overhead, trying to keep your bum bones equally weighted and your spine as long and lengthened as you can. Keep pulling that belly button in. Let's take it to the other side. Grab hold of the left wrist with your right fingers and gently tug the left arm as if you wanted to bring it overhead and tap the wall on the other side. Then effect a quick switcheroo. Make sure you're not working the same side twice. Find your setup frame on side 2. Come right up against the back edge of the mat and then scooch your toes towards the front end. Think of almost making a boomerang or a banana type frame on the mat. Find your stack on the bottom and find your turnout position. Single kick towards your nose and then float back to your start position, keeping that soft, almost Pilates V frame on the feet as you play. Let's do 3 more like this, and then we'll keep the same turnout position, but we'll kick or float the leg up to the ceiling. Now you're going to think of moving between the two, tracing an L-frame shape between the two. Exhaling as you kick and then inhaling to transition. Let's do 3 more. And then we're going to trace a circular pattern between those 2 points. And you can play with the foot line, maybe heeling and toeing out. Keeping your circles nice and big, as concentric as you can manage. Inhaling for half, exhaling for the other half, and then changing it up and tracing your shape in the opposite direction, keeping your belly button softly pulled into center the whole time. As you complete the last one, end with the top leg long and lengthened, reaching for the bottom corner of your mat. Come down on the bottom arm and reach with the top hand for the front edge of your mat, stretching on the diagonal from the front of your mat to the back of your mat. Bend the top leg, run your hand down the chain of the leg, reach for the bridge of your foot, squeeze the top knee towards the bottom knee, and take a nice little stretch here. From here, you're going to tuck yourself back into easy sit with the top leg in front. Tuck into your seated frame. Sitting up nice and tall on the mat. Make sure your bum bones are equally weighted into the mat. Place your fingertips on the mat in front of you, and then just softly creep forward, making your elbows and your forearms nice and heavy into the mat. Pushing through the forearms and sinking your hips back. Visualize somebody standing behind you, grabbing hold of your hip bones and pulling you back. Make sure that both of your bum bones are equally weighted and that you're not leaning everything into the one bum bone. Keep your belly button softly pulled in to center. Peel back up. Place your left fingertips on the floor alongside you. Start creeping the hand away, soften through the elbow and the shoulder, arc or frame. Reach with your fingertips and try to tap the wall at the opposite end of the room. Ease your way back to center and take it gently to the other side, softening through that elbow, that forearm, arcing and framing, opening up through the ribcage. So don't collapse your frame. Keep rotating the trunk as if you were trying to get the side of your rib cage to gently peek up towards the ceiling. Ease your way back to center and then gently grab hold of the left wrist with your right hand. Make sure your bum bones are equally weighted, spine long and lengthened as you grab hold of that wrist, and think of gently tugging just off the center line. Keep your belly button pulled in and your spine long and lengthened. Then take it gently to the other side, grabbing hold of your right wrist with your left fingertips and gently pulling overhead. Close off your practice by bringing the hands down in active prep, applying enough pressure between the two palms as you bring the hands down so that you can feel the arms, chest, upper back, and shoulders all committed. Thank you so much for coming out and playing with me today. Hope you enjoyed today's class. Give me a thumbs up. Remember to shoot me your comments and your feedback, and to subscribe with your notifications on. I shall see you all for yoga on the mat tomorrow. Till then, keep it light.